have just screened our last session of our third edition of the East London LGBTQ+ Film Festival. We have someone here from the Fig and The Wasp, so if you'd like to introduce yourself and your role in the film.
Yeah, hi, I'm Sterling Knight. I'm the writer, director, editor, Super 8 handler. And the Fig and The Wasp, that's my film.
So it was purely shot on film?
Yeah, I shot it entirely on Super 8, yeah.
What brought you to make that decision?
It was something as I feel like I'm quite obsessed with historical items, and I wanted to get my hands into analog filmmaking, and I figured Super 8's like a really good balance of bridging into that void without headfirst colliding into it. And I had a friend who had just tested his camera in Paris, and it worked, and so it's just kind of a serendipitous, convenient timing with the shooting of my film. But then I also, specifically with the story, really wanted to kind of have like a physical look to it, especially because queer love is so like physical and real and tangible. I wanted the film to also have like that tangible look. And
so you shot outside as well?
Yes.
So that's quite a risky move to do with something that's limited and I imagine quite expensive to
Yes.
just keep doing. So what was that experience like?
Honestly, I think a lot of it came down to the people I had on my set. It was kind of a group of us, all of which who are some of my very, very close friends. And so we just meticulously planned everything. And then the night before, we shot in Lequesic in the west of France. And the night before, we all sat around the fire and we're like, okay, tomorrow we're doing this shot at this time. And actually the first day went so fast, I realized I actually had a lot more film. So the other 2 shoot days, luckily, we could do a little bit more of a reshoot and have a little more to play around with.
So was this your first time shooting on film?
On film, yes, this was my first time.
How was that transition from having shot digital to film?
I think it honestly, actually, like directing it reminded me a lot more of like a stage play, just because when it comes to like the performance or the actual shoot day, you only have kind of one shot, maybe 2 shots to really get it. At least for mine, I did, because student budget. But it was a lot of just trusting my friend whose camera it was, and then my 2 friends who acted, to just do their thing and everything would work out, and praying a little bit.
So how big was your crew?
So it was me, and then my friend Blake and Mode did kind of some digital just backups, and then Blake, whose camera I used, my friend Fleur, who did all the audio recording, and then my friend Audrey, who was my first AD, and then my 2 actresses. So less than 10 of us. It was very small and very intimate and convenient.
And was there this was a student piece, yes?
Yes, yeah.
So was there something in mind that you had, did you already have the story you wanted to tell, or was it's this is time, we have to make this, what should we do? Did the idea come before the need to make the film?
Yeah, the idea came, I think, like the summer before, because this is my thesis film, so this is the last film I made for my undergrad. And I just knew I wanted to try and capture for me it feels like to fall in love with a woman, and kind of through the senses and play with that and just like experiment with it all.
Yeah. It's quite brave to go for something experimental as well as a student. Were your previous pieces for your undergraduate, were they around the same vein or?
No, they're very different. It kind of, I think it stemmed my undergrad uni. There was only 5 of us in the film degree that just graduated, and so a lot of people, and it being Paris, like kind of started to like go very experimental, and so I was just surrounded by all these filmmakers and students and professors who were really into all the experimental stuff, and I was like, I feel like I need to push myself. I'm very breaking on the word, like very comfortable with like, okay, here's a character and they go to this thing, and I just wanted to like do the complete opposite.
And it's no better time to go for it as well when you're in that kind of protected environment of like, education.
Yeah, no, it was great.
But had you always set out to be a filmmaker?
I was an actor for a very long time. That was kind of my trajectory as a youngin'. And then when I was applying for unis and stuff, I got really into screenwriting. And so I was like, I enjoy screenwriting, I enjoy acting. I feel like I'll enjoy having a camera in my hands and kind of controlling things. And so then it just kind of bridged from there and expanded.
Is there an element that you prefer more? Do you enjoy most having the camera in your hands, directing? Where do you want to go?
I think I'm just a big fan of screenwriting and directing, but I also just quite enjoy doing anything on a film set. So this past week I was doing sound and then just like helping like hold things, and so I'm not the most picky.
It's just the excitement of
I'm just like, okay, if I'm there, give me something, I'll do it.
Do you have any questions from the audience at this point? That is okay, because I have plenty more. So, in terms of your future career with film, would you want to stay in this kind of experimental phase, or is there a genre or a route that you'd like to explore?
Yeah, I think I'm a little more. I like kind of the narrative arc with experimental touches. So I feel like I'm leaning back towards a little more traditional. I don't like using that word, but you know. And I'm doing my master's right now at Kingston Uni, and so having access to kind of all the equipment and things has been really nice to explore that path more.
And master's is in film? Or?
Yeah, in filmmaking, film production.
That's nice transition from undergraduate into post. So, did you have the aim to keep your? Was your cast and crew queer, or was that something that even crossed your mind while you were making the film, or was it just, this is my story, these are my people I can work with?
Yeah, most of my cast and crew is queer. Actually, only my one friend isn't, and she got a bit of a our digital photographer, she was the only one who wasn't, so she got a bit of the brunt of all the jokes the whole weekend. But my two actresses are actually in a lesbian relationship still today.
With each other?
Yes, with each other. No, I knew when I was finding two people to act, I wanted to make sure, because it's Super 8, that I would have people very comfortable with each other.
Yes.
And I didn't have to worry about finding two people who are just meeting for the first time and trying to find that natural chemistry. So they very kindly agreed.
That explains the wonderful chemistry.
Yes.
Were there any major lessons that you learned on this set where you think back now, like if you had to start this all tomorrow, what would you be screaming at yourself to do differently?
I think I needed to give myself a bit more patience. The first day I was like, okay, one shot for everything, did it, and then the next day I was like, oh, we actually are ahead of schedule. I have way too much film that like I need to like, it's okay, I can play a little bit more, which worked the next 2 days, but I wish I had just like breathed into it, because I did enough planning that it all went fairly okay. And
the title was quite interesting, the Fig and The Wasp. Is there, what drew you to that specific title?
Yeah, I was, I don't know, I think it must have showed up on my Instagram, like in one of those like silly science articles about the way figs are pollinated. Basically the female wasp crawls inside the fig and then she has to die to pollinate the fig. And I just found that like really and it has to be a female fig too, like it has to be at least female in terms of like the science form. And I just found that like a really beautiful piece of like science, that it had to be, you know, two women to come together and give each other up to like make new life. Kind of weird science-y things, but it just kind of stuck with me, and then it just stuck with the title.
Yeah, incredibly poetic.
Yes.
So have you been submitting this film to other film festivals?
Yes, I have. I'm still waiting to hear back from a couple more, and then I think I'm gonna do another round of submissions in the spring, because it feels like very much a spring-summer film.
Yeah, and as it gets colder, it's nice to imagine that we're in that nice time.
Yes, by the ocean and the coast with the sun.
Are you aiming it at queer festivals, or?
I am primarily. There's a few that are just kind of like women filmmakers, or like one that I think was just like feminine filmmakers too, but I think it's very much about like queer lesbian celebration. I want it to really be felt in that kind of space.
And it's something that if it's something you experience, it's something that you can appreciate as an audience.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think my final question is, do you have plans for your next short, or have you got plans for your next film, and where would this film be available online? Is it going to be available online?
Okay. For my next couple of short films, I'm deep into my master's, so it's all like shooting a documentary on a comedian right now, which has been very different and very interesting, and planning my dissertation film in the summer, which I'm hoping I might get to shoot in Ireland. That would be, I'm looking at my friend because she has the house where
You'd be fighting the weather a little harder, so
yes, but it'll be in the summer, so it'll be, but something, another kind of period piece-esque we're working on at the details. This film is not currently anywhere right now, but it will probably be on my website at some point next year.
What's your website for the?
I think it's like Sterling Marie Knight Film, but it's linked on my Instagram at Sterling Knight with 3 T's.
Wonderful. Thank you very much for submitting.
Thank you.
And thank you for coming along and supporting.
Yes, of course.
Thank you very much.